Alright, hi guys. Okay, so trying my best to kind of get this done. This is my first time in about 10 years, actually, because I have not made this since high school. This is my first time in about 10 years making risotto, and it's a 3 cheese, so I'm gonna try this out. I have my chicken broth over here heating up. I have my butter melting. I'm about to put in my onions as soon as that's done. Give me a second. There we go. I'm going to have a 5-minute timer going so that they're translucent. So, yeah. My counter space is a mess, a complete mess, but I don't care. We are adding wine to this because this is what the recipe calls for. So we have a dry white wine. We have Pinot Grigio, or Pinot Grigio. I don't know how you pronounce that. Whatever. White wine. There you go. We have white wine. So I'm gonna open that up. I was like smelling the wine. It smells almost like a Riesling, actually. So it smells really good. That's the good thing. But yeah, it smells almost like a Riesling. It smells really good, so guess that's not all that bad, right? It's something to stir these onions with. That'll work. See if we can get this butter melted. Come on. I am using my bigger pan. I'm using my frying pan today because it's my first time using it. So, yeah. I'm going to coat the bottom of the pan. That way all that butter gets in there. Starts melting a little bit. So far, this recipe is pretty easy, considering it's been 10 years since I've made this. I haven't made risotto in a long time. So, if I crash and burn, everybody has a right to laugh, because I'll be laughing at myself, and that includes Duina. She has the right to laugh too. Because I'll be laughing at myself because I'm the stupid one who decided to make it. So this is not usually an easy recipe to make just because I haven't made it in forever. So yeah. So okay, while that butter is melting, put that right there. Check on my bread. So we're still waiting for that butter to melt. I mean, it is two tablespoons. So yeah, it's taking a little bit, but it's getting there. It's melting, so that's not bad. When it's all melted, we're going to put our onions in there. Cook them until they're translucent. So that would be about 5 minutes. I'm going to have a timer on. So now we're going to add our onions. Oops. Sometimes they all fly out at me. Okay. Alright, and turn on our 5-minute timer. You're supposed to use a half of an onion, but I couldn't even use half, so I only used a little bit because it was making me cry too much, so I couldn't really do that. It wasn't the easiest thing to do. So cutting onions is not an easy thing to do. So, yeah. It's not easy, but I'm gonna take that out. That's a core, we don't cut out the core, sorry. And this is the rice we're using. So if anyone knows how to pronounce that, that would be great to know. Maybe if we could get it open. Okay, get this open. So we're just going to use a cup of rice. And as soon as these onions are done, which actually I might give them a couple more minutes after the timer goes off just to get them really translucent. I'm going to give them probably a couple more minutes just in the case. And then we'll put the rice in. Although they're starting to look, I don't know. I mean, I guess they're starting to look okay. I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is our rice, okay? Don't know if you can see it, but these are the onions. They're looking okay, I guess. Pretty translucent. Looking pretty good. I think I'm still gonna give it a couple more minutes though. Just a couple more minutes. Okay. Don't be popping out at me. They're pretty translucent now. Okay, so we're going to pour in the rice and just coat that in the butter. Okay, that's all coated. So now we're going to put in a 1/4 cup of our white wine. Alright, and then we're just going to let that cook until the rice absorbs the wine. And I'm going to turn my chicken broth to low. So our rice is absorbing the wine for right now. So as soon as it's done absorbing, we will add the chicken broth. So I have 3 cups of that in there. I'm going to throw these in the sink. Okay. Going to put this in the fridge because I like my wine chilled when I'm cooking with it. Can't drink any wine because I don't have a wine glass right now, so I guess drinking wine is off the table. But that's okay, whatever. I usually don't drink wine, I more cook with it than anything. So, alright. Now, we are going to ladle in 1 cup, or 1 ladle, right now, of hot chicken broth. Let the rice absorb that. So while the rice is absorbing that, did have a grater. Here we go. I'm going to take my grater. I'm going to grab a plate, and I'm going to grate the one cheese that I could not find shredded. So we have, well, maybe if I can get them out. Okay, so we have, I'm going to show you, our fontina. That's the cheese we're using. We have our fontina. I'm going to shred that one. We have shredded mozzarella, and we have shredded parmesan, sorry. I've never had fontina. I don't know what this cheese tastes like, because I've never ever had fontina. I have heard from other people who have eaten it, though, that it's pretty good. It's pretty tasty. So, guess we'll find that out. So we're going to need a half cup, I think. Yep, half cup of each one. So that'll be fine. I can handle that. Gotta take all this wax off. It's covered in wax, kind of like the Baby Bell cheese. So I'm going to shred from the end, I think. That should probably be good, I think. All right. I think it's about ready for another ladle of broth. So I'm going to put in another one. Give that a stir. There we go. Alright, I think that should be about a half a cup of cheese right there. Put that in there for right now. I'm going to, hold on. got me a Ziploc bag and a Sharpie. Alright. So I'm going to open up the baggie, and I'm going to see if I can fit this block of cheese in there. I should be able to though. Alright. Get the air out of it. And then it's ready to go back in the fridge. Alright. Use that for our next use. I've got my half cup, so that I have those for all my cheeses. I'll absorb all of that. Have my cheeses right here. I hate when it says tear here because they never really mean tear here. They always mean tear elsewhere. Okay, it's one bag of cheese we got open, thank God. This is why I never buy my cheese from Kroger's. I always go to Walmart to buy my cheese, because at least it's easier to open. Okay, so, like I said before, it's been about 10 years since I've actually made a risotto. I was in my senior year of high school when I first made it, and I was in, at the time, I don't think they called it home ec, I think they called it, FCS, which is, I guess, Family and Consumer Sciences or whatever. Whatever it was called in high school. I don't remember what it was called in high school. I know that's what it was called in middle school. And I took cooking class in middle school too. But it was my senior year, and I believe it was about this time of the year, actually. And we were into our whole entire, I think we were like in our grains unit or something. And so we were in that unit. And then, so we were learning how to cook like different grains and learning about all the different all the different grains and whatever, and all the different foods and, whatever in that category, right? So, after all that, we were told all the foods that we were making in that unit. All the foods we were making in that unit had to do with like rice or, like barley or couscous or, all those different types of grains. And so the very first thing that we made was the risotto. And so it was me and I think a couple other girls. Maybe one boy. I think there was maybe one boy in our group. But I think it was me and a couple of other girls. And so me and these couple other girls, we were making the risotto. And usually in our class, when we cooked, we tended to kind of make it a bit of a competition. So we had decided that this wasn't going to be any different. We were going to make this a competition. And so we did. Made it a competition. And it was, I think the class, or the group that had the best risotto was either not cooking the next class or they were cooking double the next class. I don't remember. It was one of the two. But I think it was, no, I think it was double the cooking, which was great for me because, me, I like being in the kitchen and I like cooking and, it's just sometimes it's hard when your mother is always telling you stay out of my kitchen and, whatever, so you don't really get a chance to help out, you don't get a chance to learn whatever. So that's how my mother was. My mother was always stay out of my kitchen, stay out of my way because I'm trying to cook and I'm just like, okay, fine, I guess I just won't learn anything. But here I am making a risotto by myself, technically. Technically out of pure skill that luckily I got in high school. But like I said, it's been about 10 years, so I haven't made it in like 10 years, so I'm really nervous about it. But I think it's gonna turn out good. I'm actually really excited about it. So I'm really excited about this. And the rice that I'm using, the arborio, I believe is what it's called, it really does kind of soak up these liquids like really, really kind of quick, especially when it's on medium heat. So it really absorbs the liquid quick. It really kind of, gets soft really kind of quick. So, yeah. But it's looking really good. It's actually looking, don't know who that is. It's actually really looking good, and I'm actually really getting kind of hungry, so. It's about 2 o'clock on my side of the world, so yeah, about lunchtime. But yeah, so this is kind of a fun little thing for me, learning how to cook. I have wanted to make risotto for a while. I've been trying to plan on making this all week. I just have not felt up to it. Because I've kind of been having a lot going on. So, yeah, I have not really been up to it lately. And so it's just kind of, now I just kind of cook based on how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling great, then great, fine, whatever, I'll cook. But if I'm not feeling all that great, I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm gonna skip cooking today. So, yeah, but. But I like kind of learning how to cook new recipes and recipes I haven't cooked since high school, so it's kind of fun. For me, anyway, it's fun. Because it has been a really long time since I've cooked a risotto. I need my salt. And I know, here it is. I was going to say, I knew I had my salt out somewhere. So, yeah. But I have not made a risotto in a really long time. It really has been a long time. Like I said, it's been nearly 10 years, and that was my senior year in high school, so, but it has been a really long time, and honestly, I mean, you know, anyone who has really ever really watched my videos, like here on Substack or on YouTube or, you know, whatever, although I don't really have cooking videos on YouTube, but anyone who knows me or watches my videos on Substack, like when you saw me making my garlic dip for the first time, because there was no exact recipe to that, they didn't give you exact measurements of what to add, so yeah, I mean, you guys know that I love to cook, and I love trying new recipes out, and I like trying to, you know, kind of figure it out on my own just to kind of see where my skill is at and like what, you know, what my expertise kind of level is. I mean, it's really, really hard making something that you haven't made before, you know, and I get that. I do. But for me, sometimes, I mean, for me, it's hard because I'm new to it, you know, and I'm learning along the way, because I was always told stay out of my kitchen, so I didn't get a chance to be in the kitchen. I didn't get a chance to cook, so doing it now and trying to be an adult, it's not easy. It's literally, it's one of the hardest things in the world, so, but, you know, I'm figuring it out as I go, which is great. It's like really great. So, yeah. I think next time I'm going to try to make fried rice, but we'll see. I might try to make, what the hell was that? Anyway, I might try to make like a chicken fried rice or a vegetable fried rice. Because you're using broth, you're not using actual meat. So this is like, you know, it's perfect for the whole vegetarian thing. Because I'm trying to go at least a little bit healthier. So, yeah. I'm trying to be a little bit healthier. So I guess this is kind of a start. I do still eat meat a little bit, because I'm trying to slowly get myself off of it, because I don't want to take myself off of it like all at once and then be like, whoa, you know, like culture shock, what happened? So that would not be good. So I still eat meat here and there, just to kind of, you know, slowly get myself off of it. Because it's not, it's not easy. So it's not easy giving up, something you've been eating for so long. Especially coming from Nebraska, because from Nebraska, usually I would be a meat and potatoes kind of girl. So, usually I would be a meat and potatoes kind of girl. Like pork chops and mashed potatoes and, all this stuff. But, with this whole heart issue, I guess, on my side of the family, I think eating healthier would probably be, the best choice, especially because my dad has CHF, which is congestive heart failure, and I don't talk to my mom or dad anymore, not after, what recently happened, so, I kind of, I didn't want to, but the fact that it was a toxic situation and the fact that, no matter what I did, no matter what I said, it was always wrong, that wasn't good for my mental health and that wasn't good for my health in general. So I had to, I cut myself off from my parents. I cut myself off from my sisters. I cut myself off from everybody in my family because that was a toxic situation. I wasn't going to deal with that and I wasn't going to handle that. Especially because, when you're in a toxic situation like that, where there's kind of like verbal abuse going on or there's like mental abuse going on, you're kind of, told, keep quiet. Maybe not like necessarily told to keep quiet, but in a way you're like, okay, yeah, keep it quiet because nobody needs to know. But, I'm letting y'all know that, if y'all are mentally abused, verbally abused, physically abused, please cut that off from your life because you do not need that. That is not good for your health. That is not good for your overall mental health. So, if you're mentally abused, verbally abused, physically abused, whatever kind of abuse is going on, please cut yourself off from them. Because honestly, I did it and my life is a whole lot better. Usually I wouldn't say that because it's my parents, but, my parents are toxic and they're not good for me. They're not good for my mental health. So, yeah, just please, if you have an abusive situation or you're in an abusive living situation, please get out of there and just cut yourself off. No contact with anybody. Because I cut my parents out because of their abuse, because I couldn't take the abuse anymore. And my life is getting better. My mental health is a lot better than it was. My mental health is a lot better. My overall health is a lot better. I'm not constantly feeling worthless anymore, which is great. Because that's how they were making me feel. They were making me constantly feel like I wasn't worth anything. They constantly made me feel worthless. You're not worthless. I know you think that, when you're in an abuse situation, but you are not worthless. That's what they want you to be. And that's not you. Because that wasn't me either. And I thought for the longest time, that it was. Don't mind me, I'm over here just, trying to kill myself or whatever. But that's all it is they want you to think that you're not good enough, when you know damn well that you're plenty good enough. That's just what they don't want you to think. They don't they don't want you to know your worth. They want you to, they don't want you to grow. They want you to, continue thinking, oh, I'm worthless, like what's the point? And you're not. So, yeah, but that was the thing. I had to cut my parents out. I had no choice. I've tried so long and so hard to work at it. I've tried to tell them how I feel, and they just don't want to hear it. So, for me, I had to make a choice between either cutting them out of my life or continue to be abused. And so I decided to cut them out. I decided to not be abused anymore. Because I did not want that. I did not want to be abused anymore. So, yeah. But I'm much better now. My mental health is better. My overall health is better. Especially my overall health. Because I think what my problem was, because I'm going to explain this, I had really been having like a lot of pain on my left side, especially in my chest. And I think it was because of, the situations that I was in, and I think it was hypertension. And ever since I had cut my parents out, cut my sisters out, whatever, because I don't need the abuse anymore, I started feeling better. So I think that's what it was. It was just the stress of that situation, and then the hypertension along with that. So I haven't felt chest pain, I haven't felt arm pain, I haven't felt any pain since I cut them out. And that was only a couple days ago. So yeah, I've never been better. So especially with my mental health. My mental health has gotten a lot better. I no longer feel worthless. I no longer feel, like what did I do wrong? I no longer feel like that. I finally feel better. And I'm proud of that. And I'm proud of how far I came. So I'm proud of how far I came. I'm proud of how far I'm going to keep going, because I no longer have that abuse in my life, and I no longer have to deal with it. So I'm great, considering. I know this lighting is terrible. There, maybe you guys can see me now. But yeah, can't believe it's taken me about an hour to cook risotto. I didn't realize it was going to take this long to cook. Sorry, guys. So this is going to be a very long Substack video. This is going to be a very long Substack video. I didn't realize it was going to take me about an hour to cook this. I thought it was going to be a quick thing, and then I forgot, oh, this is risotto we're talking about. It's not that quick to cook. But it's really good. So I haven't had risotto in like 10 years, so I'm very, very, very nervous to make it and taste it. I'm actually very anxious to taste it, especially because I haven't had risotto in a long time. Like I said, the last time I had risotto was in high school, and I made that by myself, with a few other girls and quite possibly a guy. So I'm really excited to taste this today. I kind of feel like I have my own cooking show now. Honestly, I kind of feel like I'm on like Pioneer Woman or Barefoot Contessa or one of those cooking shows. Because I used to watch a lot of cooking shows growing up, like Rachel Ray, or I used to watch like Rachel Ray or Pioneer Woman or Barefoot Contessa, or I used to watch a lot of stuff. And I like all those kind of like older cooking shows from when I was younger. Because growing up, I would, or Emeril, used to watch Emeril all the time. I love Emeril Lagasse. Especially when it goes bam when he's cooking. Oh, my favorite. But, I used to grow up watching like Emeril or Rachel Ray or Barefoot Contessa. And, at first I would sit there and I would be like really, really, kind of, bored with it because I'm a little kid. But as I grew up until I got a teenager or, whatever, I kind of grew more of an interest and I kind of got a little more interested in it. And I would sit there and watch cooking shows all the time. So it was kind of a fun little time being a teenager, I guess. So it was kind of fun being a teenager. So yeah, I kind of liked being a teenager. I kind of liked being in school and being away from my mom and my dad, especially my dad. Because out of the two, my dad is the more, my dad is kind of the meaner one. But my mom goes along with it, so she doesn't stand up for me. She doesn't do anything to stop me. She's kind of just the meaner. Well, my dad's the meaner one, and my mom's just the kind of stand by and let it happen type. And that's why they're cut out, and that's why they don't know my life anymore, because I ain't gonna give them that control. But that's my mother's thing. She liked to control me. Sorry, my nose itched. My mom likes to control me. So she likes to control what I wear, how I wear my hair, She likes to control everything about me. From my clothes, to my hair, to my jewelry, to, whatever. And I think my mom started hating me because I would no longer give her that control. So I think that's why my mom hates me so much, is because she no longer has control over me, and she knows it. I think that's why my mom hates me, and you know what? To be quite honest, I don't care. I don't care if my mom hates me, because you know what? It's my life, not hers. She has her own life. She can live her own life. I have my life, and I'm doing perfectly fine in mine. She has 2 other girls that she can control, and that's my sisters. She can go ahead and control them. She's not controlling me. I don't care. So, yeah, I'm happy living my life. I'm fine with my life. I am, however, whatever, going to, I think, get a no contact order and a protection order, just in the case, because I don't want them to come after me. I don't want them to come for me. So, even though I'm 27, but they still like to, take control and, whatever. They'll use whatever manipulation tactics they can use. And I'm not going to put up with that anymore, so. So, yeah, I'm not going to put up with that anymore. Yeah. So, but, you know, it is what it is. That's all I know. That's all I have to say. No idea where he got this from. There's another risotto recipe on here. Cool. Anyway, I really honestly did not realize it was going to take an hour. Had I realized it was going to take an hour, I would have made a shorter video and I'd have made a TikTok for it. Because that's at least a 10-minute video. And at least with a TikTok, at least you can show your steps on what to do in a video in like 10 short minutes and then just show it when it's done. I did not realize this was going to be like an almost hour-long video. So, for those of you watching this hour-long video, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize it was going to take this long, to be quite honest. And I'm really, really sorry. So, but it's okay, because the risotto's about done. I think it absorbed all the broth, so we're going to take this off the heat. And then, ooh, really kind of smells. Gonna add half a cup of our cheese. We add a half cup of all of our cheeses, which is the Fontina. Luckily, I got about the half cup of Fontina. Okay. And then the mozzarella. Hold on, don't melt yet. Cup of mozzarella. Maybe I'll add just a little bit more because that did not look like a full half cup. There. Add just a little bit more. And then, of course, a half cup of shredded Parmesan. Oops. Alright. Have all of our cheeses in. So now I'm going to stir this until it's all melted. And then when it's all melted and turned into a risotto, I will put it in a bowl. And then I'll show you what it looks like. This really kind of does look really good. Actually, I'm really quite impressed with how this turned out. This really is a very cheesy risotto. Just kind of looks like a big ball of cheese. It doesn't even look like rice anymore. It just looks like a big ball of cheese. But it looks really good. I can't wait to eat it. Hold on. See if I can show it to you guys. Alright, and then you you're supposed to let it sit for a few minutes before you just serve it in the bowl. So, I'm going to show it to you guys. I don't know if you can see it, but this is the risotto. If you guys can see it. Oh, you guys can kind of see it, I guess. Yeah, this is kind of what it looks like. So, that's our risotto. It's all done. I'm going to get everything cleaned up. Try a little bit of this fontina first. It's not bad. Kind of tastes like mozzarella a little bit. Not bad for fontina. I'm going to go and get everything cleaned up. Yes, I know, my kitchen is a mess, whatever. I'll clean it. But I'm going to go and get everything cleaned up, and then I'm going to eat my risotto, and then I'll be good for the day. I will be great. So, yeah. Anyway, again, sorry this video took about an hour. It was a well worth it video, I suppose. I mean, we're making risotto, so anything with rice is pretty good. But yeah, I'll see you guys later.